The world just witnessed one of the most mind-blowing archaeological revelations in modern history. What scientists uncovered beneath the Giza pyramids in 2025 will force you to question everything you thought you knew about ancient Egypt and human civilization itself. We're talking about discoveries so profound, so earth-shattering, that they could completely rewrite the history books and challenge the very foundation of mainstream archaeology. But before we dive deep into these incredible findings that are sending shockwaves through the scientific community, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell, because you absolutely won't want to miss what's coming next in this mind-bending journey into humanity's hidden past. Just months after shocking pyramid discoveries made headlines worldwide and captured the attention of millions, cutting-edge radar technology has revealed something absolutely impossible, hiding deep beneath Egypt's most famous monuments. We're not talking about small chambers, simple tunnels, or minor archaeological finds here. We're talking about a massive, sophisticated underground city that stretches more than 2,000 feet below the surface, complete with spiral staircases that would make modern architects jealous. Enormous chambers, larger than football fields, and intricate tunnel networks so advanced they rival contemporary engineering marvels. Picture this for a moment. Imagine descending into the depths beneath the Great Pyramid, your flashlight cutting through the darkness as you navigate corridors that haven't seen human footsteps for potentially thousands of years. The air is thick with mystery, and the weight of history presses down on you as you realize you're walking through structures that could completely revolutionize our understanding of ancient civilizations. This isn't science fiction, folks. This is the reality that researchers have uncovered using the most advanced ground-penetrating technology available today. Back in March 2025, Professor Corrado Malanga and researcher Filippo Biondi first stunned the scientific community with their groundbreaking radar scans beneath the Khafre Pyramid. Their initial findings revealed mysterious spiral structures and potential water channels buried deep in the sand, formations so precise and deliberately designed that they immediately raised eyebrows across the archaeological world. The precision and deliberate design of these formations wasn't just impressive, it was mind-boggling. This wasn't random geology shaped by millions of years of natural processes. This was intentional architecture on a scale that defied conventional understanding of ancient Egyptian capabilities and challenged everything we thought we knew about the technological limitations of ancient civilizations. The radar data showed structures that spiraled downward with mathematical precision, water management systems that would impress modern hydraulic engineers, and construction techniques that seemed impossibly advanced for a civilization we're told used primitive tools and basic engineering knowledge. The implications were staggering, and the archaeological community knew they were looking at something that could fundamentally change our understanding of human history. But here's where things get absolutely fascinating, and frankly, a little suspicious. The moment these groundbreaking discoveries went public and started gaining international attention, mainstream Egyptologists led by the prominent and controversial Dr. Zahi Hawass rushed to dismiss them with an urgency that was almost startling. They called them radar anomalies, misinterpretations of geological data, or natural formations that had been misunderstood by overeager researchers. Dr. Hawass went on record stating these findings were completely false, aggressively claiming the researchers were lying about their capabilities to see kilometers underground with their sophisticated technology. The resistance wasn't just skeptical. It was immediate, intense, and frankly, seemed almost defensive. Now let me ask you something. When legitimate scientists using cutting-edge technology make discoveries that could revolutionize our understanding of history, why would established authorities be so quick to dismiss them? Why not encourage further investigation? Why not celebrate the possibility of new knowledge? The pattern of resistance we're seeing here is troubling and raises serious questions about what certain people in positions of authority might be trying to hide. However, history has a funny way of proving skeptics wrong, and this pattern has repeated itself countless times throughout archaeological history. Remember how Göbekli Tepe was initially dismissed as impossible when it was first discovered? Mainstream archaeologists called it too advanced, too old, too sophisticated for the time period. They said it couldn't exist because it didn't fit their established timeline of human development. Today, it's recognized as one of the most significant archaeological sites ever found, completely rewriting our understanding of early human civilization and proving that our ancestors were far more capable than we previously believed. The same pattern of initial rejection, followed by eventual acceptance, has repeated itself throughout archaeological history, from the discovery of Troy to the acceptance of continental drift theory. If you're finding this as absolutely fascinating as I am, and I know you are because you've made it this far into the video, smash that like button right now and let me know in the comments what you think about these incredible discoveries. Your engagement doesn't just help the algorithm, it helps more people learn about these potentially world-changing findings that mainstream media seems reluctant to cover in depth. And trust me, we're just getting started with revelations that will blow your mind. The story takes an even more dramatic and compelling turn in June 2025 when Malanga's dedicated team returned to the Giza Plateau with upgraded equipment and more sophisticated scanning technology. The new detailed scans revealed something truly extraordinary, something that goes beyond anything archaeologists have discovered in modern times. The new radar images didn't show vague shapes, questionable signals, or ambiguous data that could be interpreted multiple ways. They displayed a clearly defined underground metropolis with massive vertical shafts plunging into the earth, enormous chambers spanning 80 meters across, and carefully engineered spiral staircases descending into the mysterious depths like something out of an ancient civilization's most ambitious architectural dreams. The scale of this discovery is absolutely staggering and almost defies belief. These structures extend 2,100 feet underground, roughly twice the height of the Eiffel Tower in reverse, creating an inverted city beneath the sands of Egypt. To put that in perspective, that's deeper than the Empire State Building is tall. We're talking about construction on a scale that would challenge modern engineers with all their advanced machinery, computer modeling, and sophisticated construction techniques. The symmetry and precision evident in the radar images strongly suggest deliberate human construction rather than natural geological formations shaped by random geological processes over millions of years. Some of these chambers are absolutely massive, the size of Olympic swimming pools or large city buildings, interconnected by a sophisticated network of tunnels and corridors that snake through the bedrock with purposeful design. The level of planning and engineering required to create such a complex would require advanced mathematical knowledge, sophisticated surveying techniques, and construction capabilities that mainstream archaeology insists didn't exist in ancient times. What makes this discovery even more compelling and scientifically credible is the meticulous approach used by the international research team. They conducted multiple scans using different types of equipment, employed various radar frequencies, cross-referenced their data using electrical resistivity tomography, and triple-checked their results to ensure absolute accuracy. Their methodology was transparent, peer-reviewed, and scientifically rigorous according to the highest standards of archaeological investigation. Yet despite this thorough, professional approach that followed every protocol of legitimate scientific research, mainstream archaeology continued to resist these findings with surprising intensity and what seemed like predetermined conclusions. This raises a critical question that every viewer needs to seriously consider, and I want you to think about this carefully. Why would established archaeologists, people whose careers are supposedly dedicated to uncovering the truth about human history, be so quick to dismiss potentially revolutionary discoveries without proper investigation? Is it genuine scientific caution based on legitimate concerns? Or is there something more at stake here? Are there economic interests, political pressures, or institutional biases that make certain discoveries inconvenient or threatening to established narratives? Share your thoughts in the comments below, because this pattern of resistance is definitely worth examining closely, and I have a feeling many of you have insights that could shed light on this troubling trend. The implications of these discoveries extend far beyond simple archaeological curiosity or academic interest. If these structures were indeed built by humans, which the mounting evidence strongly suggests, we're looking at a civilization far more advanced than mainstream archaeology currently accepts or wants to acknowledge. The engineering knowledge required to create such elaborate underground complexes would rival modern construction capabilities and suggests a level of technological sophistication that challenges our entire understanding of ancient human capabilities. But here's where the mystery deepens even further, and this is where things get really interesting. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, because this story gets even more incredible and the implications become even more profound as we dig deeper into what might be the greatest archaeological cover-up in modern history. One of the most puzzling aspects of this entire situation is how little direct evidence exists about who actually built the pyramids themselves. Think about that for a moment and let it really sink in. If you constructed something as monumental as these pyramids, engineering marvels that have stood for thousands of years and continue to amaze visitors from around the world, wouldn't you proudly display your name, your methods, your achievements for all to see? Wouldn't you want future generations to know exactly who accomplished such an incredible feat of engineering and construction? Yet at Giza, archaeologists find virtually nothing in terms of clear, unambiguous evidence of construction. No detailed construction records that you'd expect from such a massive undertaking. No clear pharaonic inscriptions definitively claiming credit. No step-by-step documentation of building techniques. Instead, there's just a single piece of graffiti connecting the pyramids to Pharaoh Khufu, discovered centuries after the supposed construction period by workers who may have had their own reasons for creating such markings. It's like finding random graffiti in your attic, written decades after your house was built, and then assuming that person constructed your entire home. Would you accept that as definitive proof? Would any reasonable person consider that sufficient evidence to establish historical fact? This glaring absence of clear, contemporaneous evidence opens the door to a fascinating and potentially revolutionary possibility. Could these pyramids, along with the newly discovered underground complexes, have been constructed by a much older, more technologically advanced civilization that predated ancient Egypt by thousands of years? This theory gains substantial additional support from a separate team of Japanese researchers who made their own remarkable discovery near the Western Cemetery at Giza. Using advanced ground-penetrating radar and electrical resistivity imaging technology, they identified a deliberately concealed L-shaped structure buried just 6 feet below the surface. But what lies beneath this structure is even more intriguing and mysterious. Their scans revealed a large, perfectly square cavity located 15 to 30 feet underground, a chamber that appears to have been intentionally sealed and hidden from view. The Japanese research team, comprised of respected scientists from Higashi Nippon International University and Tohoku University, published their findings in the prestigious journal Archaeological Research in Asia. Their documentation includes detailed methodology, precise measurements, and comprehensive analysis that meets the highest standards of scientific publication. The deliberate burial and precise positioning of these structures strongly indicate intentional human construction rather than natural geological features shaped by random environmental processes. The fact that these structures were deliberately concealed raises profound questions about the intentions of their builders. Were they hiding something valuable? Were they preserving knowledge for future generations? Were they protecting these chambers from natural disasters, invading forces, or some other threat we can't even imagine today? Make sure you're subscribed with notifications turned on, because we're about to explore some theories that will absolutely blow your mind and challenge everything you think you know about ancient history and human civilization. These recent discoveries align remarkably well with ancient Egyptian legends and historical texts that speak of hidden chambers beneath the Giza Plateau. For centuries, these stories were dismissed as folklore, mythology, or wishful thinking by treasure hunters and amateur historians. But now, with credible scientific evidence supporting their existence, these legends are taking on new significance and breathing new life into tales that had been relegated to the realm of fantasy. The most famous of these legends speaks of the Hall of Records, a supposed hidden chamber containing invaluable knowledge about Egypt's true history, advanced technologies, and connections to civilizations that predate known Egyptian dynasties. Ancient texts describe this chamber as containing scrolls, tablets, and artifacts that could revolutionize our understanding of human development and reveal technologies that were supposedly lost to time. Could these newly revealed structures actually be the legendary Hall of Records mentioned in ancient texts? Could they contain information that explains how the pyramids were really built, by whom, and for what purpose? The possibility is tantalizing and could provide answers to questions that have puzzled researchers for generations. The resistance to further exploration of these discoveries raises deeply troubling questions about transparency in modern archaeology and the politics that may be influencing scientific research. The Egyptian government has repeatedly denied permits for detailed research beneath the pyramids, and independent researchers consistently face surprising obstacles when proposing investigations that might challenge accepted historical narratives or reveal information that contradicts official accounts. International teams of scientists, equipped with the most advanced technology and backed by prestigious universities, have seen their research proposals rejected without adequate explanation. Permits that should be granted based on scientific merit are denied based on bureaucratic objections that seem designed to prevent investigation rather than facilitate it. This pattern of obstruction raises serious questions about what authorities might be trying to hide and why they seem so determined to prevent further exploration. Why would any government or institution restrict scientific exploration that could provide clarity about ancient history and human origins? What could they possibly gain from maintaining ignorance rather than pursuing knowledge? The answers to these questions might be more complex and politically charged than you might expect. There are several understandable economic and political reasons for this resistance that go beyond simple scientific conservatism. Egypt's tourism industry, which employs millions of people and generates billions of dollars in revenue annually, relies heavily on established historical narratives about the pyramids being built by ancient Egyptian pharaohs as tombs for their eternal rest. These stories are deeply embedded in tourist guides, museum displays, and cultural presentations that attract millions of visitors every year. Confirming that a pre-Egyptian civilization built the pyramids or that they served purposes other than royal tombs could potentially disrupt this carefully constructed tourism narrative. It might force expensive revisions to museum exhibits, tour guide training, and marketing materials. More significantly, it could challenge Egypt's national identity and cultural pride, which are deeply connected to being the inheritors of the civilization that built these magnificent monuments. But should economic considerations and national pride outweigh the pursuit of historical truth and scientific advancement? Should we allow financial interests to dictate what archaeological research is permitted and what discoveries can be investigated? These are profound ethical questions that go to the heart of how we approach historical research and scientific inquiry in the modern world. The pattern of initial skepticism followed by eventual acceptance has repeated throughout archaeological history, and understanding this pattern is crucial to evaluating the current situation. Göbekli Tepe in Turkey provides a perfect example of how revolutionary discoveries are initially resisted and then ultimately accepted when the evidence becomes undeniable. When archaeologist Klaus Schmidt first began uncovering Göbekli Tepe in the 1990s, mainstream experts dismissed his findings as impossible or grossly exaggerated. They argued that hunter-gatherer societies from 12,000 years ago couldn't possibly have possessed the organizational skills, technological knowledge, or social complexity necessary to construct such sophisticated stone monuments. The discovery challenged fundamental assumptions about human development and the timeline of civilization that had been accepted for decades. Yet as excavation continued and more evidence emerged, the scientific community was forced to acknowledge that Göbekli Tepe represented something unprecedented in archaeological history. This 12,000-year-old site completely revolutionized our understanding of early human civilization. proving that organized, sophisticated societies with advanced architectural knowledge existed far earlier than previously believed. The discovery forced archaeologists worldwide to reconsider accepted timelines and challenge long-held assumptions about the capabilities of ancient peoples. Similarly, Karahan Tepe, another ancient site discovered near Göbekli Tepe, revealed equally sophisticated stone structures and advanced sculptures dating to the same ancient period. The consistency of these discoveries across multiple sites strengthened the evidence that human civilization's timeline extends much further back than traditionally accepted, and that our ancestors possessed capabilities that mainstream archaeology had previously considered impossible. These discoveries demonstrate a clear historical pattern that's worth paying attention to. Mainstream archaeology initially dismisses groundbreaking findings that conflict with established beliefs, often with the same intensity and certainty we're seeing in response to the Giza discoveries. But ultimately, when evidence becomes overwhelming and undeniable, the scientific community is forced to acknowledge new realities and revise accepted historical narratives. Let me know in the comments if you think we're seeing the same pattern playing out beneath the sands of Egypt. Your insights and theories always add tremendous value to these discussions, and I genuinely read and consider every thoughtful comment that comes in. The collective wisdom of this community often reveals perspectives and connections that individual researchers might miss. Global ancient traditions and historical texts from cultures around the world consistently describe highly sophisticated civilizations that predated known recorded history. These accounts, found in the mythologies and oral traditions of ancient societies from Mesopotamia to India to indigenous cultures across the Americas, share remarkably similar stories about advanced civilizations that existed before great floods, catastrophes, or cataclysms wiped them out and forced humanity to rebuild from scratch. For generations, scholars have viewed these accounts as purely mythological, allegorical stories designed to teach moral lessons or explain natural phenomena that ancient peoples couldn't understand scientifically. They dismissed these consistent global narratives as coincidental similarities rather than potential historical memories passed down through oral tradition across thousands of years. However, increasing archaeological evidence suggests these ancient accounts may contain significant elements of historical truth, rather than pure mythology. The consistency of these stories across cultures that had no contact with each other is particularly striking and suggests they might be describing real historical events rather than invented tales. This possibility gains substantial support when we consider geological studies that indicate significant climatic events and catastrophic global flooding occurred around 12,000 years ago during what scientists call the Younger Dryas period. During this time, abrupt environmental changes dramatically reshaped Earth's landscape, caused massive extinctions, and potentially impacted human populations worldwide in ways we're only beginning to understand. The timing of these geological events aligns intriguingly with ancient flood myths found in cultures around the world and corresponds to the era associated with sites like Göbekli Tepe. This correlation suggests that ancient peoples might have been preserving actual historical memories of catastrophic events that destroyed earlier civilizations and forced survivors to rebuild human society from scattered remnants. Additional compelling evidence supporting an older timeline for the Giza monuments comes from geological research conducted on the Great Sphinx by respected geologist Dr. Robert Schoch. His detailed analysis reveals significant water erosion patterns on the Sphinx that suggest it's far older than mainstream Egyptologists claim, potentially dating back to a time when the region experienced much higher rainfall than the current desert climate would support. Dr. Schoch's findings indicate the Sphinx weathering patterns are consistent with thousands of years of rainfall erosion, rather than the wind and sand erosion that would be expected if it were built during Egypt's known dynastic period. This geological evidence suggests the Sphinx and potentially other Giza monuments may have been constructed during a much earlier period when the climate was dramatically different. Furthermore, the controversial inventory stela, a historical artifact discovered near the pyramids, explicitly states that the Sphinx and certain other monuments were already ancient landmarks before Egypt's traditionally accepted historical timeline. While mainstream Egyptology has dismissed this artifact as a later fabrication, independent researchers argue it may represent authentic historical information that contradicts accepted chronologies. The inventory Stela describes Pharaoh Khufu discovering the Sphinx already buried in sand and ordering its restoration rather than its construction. If authentic, this account would completely revolutionize our understanding of the Giza complex and suggest these monuments are far older than currently believed by mainstream archaeology. When we consider all these historical clues, geological evidence, and archaeological anomalies alongside the recent radar discoveries beneath Giza, it becomes increasingly plausible that a sophisticated pre-Egyptian civilization built these hidden underground structures. Such a civilization would fundamentally challenge mainstream archaeology's established narrative and suggest human history extends far earlier and is far more complex than currently accepted by academic institutions. The engineering capabilities demonstrated by these underground structures, combined with the advanced knowledge required to construct the pyramids themselves, suggests a level of technological sophistication that rivals or exceeds many modern achievements. The precision of the underground chambers, the mathematical accuracy of the tunnel systems, and the sheer scale of the construction project indicate access to advanced surveying techniques, sophisticated tools, and organizational capabilities that mainstream archaeology insists didn't exist in ancient times. The broader implications of these discoveries are absolutely staggering and could revolutionize multiple fields of study. If proven true, these findings could indicate that ancient human societies achieved levels of engineering, astronomy, mathematics, and architecture previously considered impossible for the distant past. They suggest our ancestors may have possessed scientific knowledge that was lost during catastrophic events and is only now being rediscovered through modern archaeological techniques. These structures may have been deliberately concealed beneath Egypt's sands for reasons we still don't fully understand. Perhaps they were hidden for preservation during times of conflict, sealed for protection during natural disasters, or intentionally buried to preserve important knowledge for future generations who would have the technology necessary to uncover and understand them. The possibility that we're looking at a lost chapter of human history is both exciting and humbling. It suggests that human civilization may be far older and more sophisticated than we currently believe, and that much of our past may still be waiting to be discovered beneath the sands of Egypt and other archaeological sites around the world. Before you go, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell because we'll be following this developing story as new information emerges. I'll also be creating follow-up videos as more details become available. And you won't want to miss any updates on what could be the most significant archaeological discovery in human history. Also, check out the video I'm linking in the description about other suppressed archaeological discoveries that mainstream science seems reluctant to investigate thoroughly. The evidence beneath Giza suggests that history truly has missing chapters, and these recent discoveries could finally help us begin filling in those gaps that have puzzled researchers for generations. The sophisticated underground city, the mysterious portal-like structures, the pattern of institutional resistance, and the geological evidence all point toward revelations that could completely reshape our understanding of human civilization itself and our place in the long arc of history. We may be witnessing the uncovering of humanity's forgotten past, evidence of capabilities and knowledge that challenge everything we thought we knew about ancient peoples and their achievements. The implications extend beyond archaeology into questions about human potential, lost technologies, and the cyclical nature of civilization itself. What do you think about these incredible discoveries that are shaking the foundations of established archaeology? Do you believe we're witnessing the uncovering of a lost civilization that predates known history? Or do you side with mainstream archaeology's skepticism and dismissal of these findings? Are there economic, political, or institutional reasons why certain discoveries might be suppressed or dismissed? Drop your thoughts and theories in the comments below, because I genuinely want to hear your perspectives on these profound questions. I read every single thoughtful comment and reply to my favorites, so don't be shy about sharing your insights. Your observations often reveal connections and possibilities that might not be obvious to individual researchers working in isolation. Together, we can help piece together the puzzle of humanity's mysterious past and maybe uncover truths that certain institutions would prefer to keep buried. Until next time, keep questioning everything you've been told about ancient history. Stay curious about the mysteries that surround us, and remember that the most profound discoveries often come from people who are willing to challenge accepted narratives and think beyond the limitations of established dogma. The truth about our past may be more extraordinary than we've ever imagined.